Okay. Um, I want to start by saying thank you to whoever that little bird was that left me that sweet comment yesterday. Okay. Um, I'm feeling lots of different things, so I'm just going to try to dive into what the cards are giving. The overall theme for this is that there's a deep need to pull on faith and to trust and believe in whatever you can in the journey, in God if you believe in that, in yourself, in this higher plan. If you have had to endure a lot, or you've had to experience a lot of projections from others or isolation, there's also all this unknown that we have to navigate, because you're trying not to follow the mind, and you're not following, or you may still be in that place, but if you're eventually, especially if you're in isolation, you're learning how to tune in to this inner guidance. And so you aren't walking the beaten path anymore, and in some way or another that's going to inspire people. And I just got a note right before I came on here that there's some people that like are criticizing you behind the scenes, or watching you, and they don't like what you're doing, but eventually you're going to inspire them or whatever. And it's just, I've been battling with my own like demons in the last couple of days, because I'm scared about what's next, and I'm scared to feel safe. Like it started to get to this place of like I wasn't in that place. I remember in the summer I was in a very deep like state of gratitude and joy, but like somehow that's been stripped away from me, and it's like I feel uncomfortable / unworthy of like feeling safe and like doing things that I enjoy, like I'm just feeling a lot of anxiety. And I guess the point of that is to say that these things do pass, and it's like I don't know why yet. My guides keep telling me that they're gonna keep showing me like more about my story, and like why things have happened the way they have, and why I had to have why my darkness is so, why the fury inside of me was so intense. And hurting your own kin, like hurting your own, putting that projection and that anger onto your own child is like, it's such a hard thing to carry. It's such a hard burden to let go of, but it has taught me. So that's where all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom, all of the learning to love myself and to follow spirituality and follow my inner guidance, like all of that happened because of that. So it's like, and having a deeper bond, ironically, with my child. Like everything was superficial before that. I mean, I think I always had some love in my heart, but this is just something that's come to me, is that to be pure. Okay, this came to me too, is just the other day, is that people talk, okay, people talk about I remember this always bothered me, is like when people talk about babies and they're like, oh, they're so perfect, and they're like, they would always use that term, and something about that, because that's something that I struggled with, is like letting go of the idea of perfectionism. I think that's always been triggering for me. But like even babies, like they haven't been tainted by the world yet. But if we come here with past life stuff, or you've been on earth many times, and again, this is up to your belief, but like, this is what I believe, is that babies already come here with like this plan. And like, I believe that we're God's children, and that we've even come from another star system, depending on like what your viewpoint is on that and stuff. So it's like, we're really just meant to be guides and shepherds for each other, and messengers and space holders. And then you may have, you may have a soul tribe, and you may have people that you are able to have this intimacy with, but we still have to let it all go. So I just think that when we use those terms like perfect, we sort of set ourselves up for this illusion, this disillusioned idea that we don't have darkness, and that we don't need to work through our shadows. And I think that that's where we can't purify here without the darkness. Like, I guess that's what I think of when I think of like babies coming here, and it's like, yes, they're precious and they're incredible, and okay, I don't know. I want to separate that from the baby thing, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I guess it's like, it's a choice to face your darkness, your demons, and to choose to purify. We have to accept that we're impure in order to become more pure. And it's crazy. I mean, but what happens is that's how we find safety. That's how we develop safety within ourselves, because we're not running from that part of ourselves anymore. We're not trying to hide and repress anything. We're trying to let it out, bring it to the light. And in that same way, it's this effect. I can't think of the right term. It's this, you're bringing it to the light. You're bringing it to the light of the world. So you're bringing it to the light for everybody. And so that's why it's like, I guess it's triggering for people who are like, are not ready to face something within themselves yet. And they feel they still see being on a pedestal and being perfect. And like, I remember being in that place too, where it was like, I didn't feel good enough if I didn't do the things I had to do that day. Like, I wasn't worthy if I didn't cross off the T, dot the T's, and cross the T's, not the I's. But it's like, that's what drove me to insanity. Like, that's what drove me to that place of like, especially I think I was able to like manage it, when I had some freedom. But like, when I was just doing everything on my own, that's when I would snap as a parent, because it was like, I couldn't manage it all. I couldn't do it all in a day. And I felt like the people around me expected that of me, or they weren't able to help me with the things that I needed help with, and there's this lack of support as well here. And that's what happens too, is it's like, you realize I just listened to a message about that, but I will just reiterate that this other man was speaking on it from his journey, is that it's like, you also know that this journey is for you when God isolates you. And it's like, maybe you've been trying to hold on to certain people, but it's like, if you're going to follow the path of God, it's like he's asking you over and over and over and over again to be obedient to him. And that's something that just came to me, and I'm going to get back to the cards again, but this is just a very difficult, heavy energy. So, oh shoot, I'm going to lose it now. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I need to eat. My blood sugar is low. Shoot. All right, maybe it'll come back to me. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Yeah, we just have a lot of feelings of lack, feeling unsupported. There's like a hopelessness that in the general energy. But this is just what's in your head. This is just what you're feeling. There's judgment that was called because of Two of Cups being reversed. There's a feeling of loss. And that's why I said this is when it's like you draw on your faith. You draw on whatever, and oh, okay, yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so this is something that like I'm missing so much from my story that it's weird. It's weird for me sometimes to like speak on things, but I remember being like this, a little bit of this rebelliousness about me at some point. And I remember like threatening to like run away from home and stuff like that. But I don't think that my childhood was like super tumultuous. I just think that, I think there were times, I know, I don't want to dive into that too much, but the point of that being that the black sheep of the family, the disobedient one, is usually the one that gets reprimanded. You get in trouble for being that way instead of it being, and then now we have a deeper like for me, it's like with my child also being autistic and stuff, it's like that spirit in him, that indomitable spirit, he is very strong-willed, and it's like that takes a lot of relearning how to parent, learning how to parent, and to like give more of yourself essentially to your child, be there more for them, for the children who are strong-willed, because they do like essentially require more, they have more needs. And so that's usually the sensitive kids. Like there's kind of this like thing about like you're sensitive and you're a black sheep and you're strong-willed, and it's like it's so as a parent, and you see that and you see like, oh, they're disobedient, they're bad, and then you want to beat them, or you want to, sorry, that's where it's triggering, or you want to, send them to the room and tell them they're bad and stuff like that. And it's not to say that there aren't there, and because boundaries for sure, kids need, and it's needed, and learning right and wrong, and like all these different things. And I have a very different perspective of this because I've also had to learn and like learn about parenting just as a parent, a new parent, but also just like all the different things that I've had to learn with my kid and behavioral stuff and like all kinds of things. So I have I learned about conscious parenting and these different things, and we're all just learning. It's not a comparison or judgment or anything like that. But okay, the point of that is to say that there was this disobedient so there's times when kids will like feel shame and like want to do better to please their parent, and then there's times when, depending on the situation and maybe depending on the spirit of the child, like the kids that have that indomitable spirit, they're gonna go the other way and say, F this, I'm doing what I want, and maybe even internalize things. Like I know that there was a point in my life when I just switched off, like speaking certain things because I didn't feel seen or heard and stuff. So I remember that for sure. So that rebelliousness is needed in life, like whatever, because it's like to break barriers and to not give up. And if you want to make your own, like be an entrepreneur, like there's lots of different places that we can use that like rebellious spirit. But then this path, and this is just what has come to me recently, is that it's like now God was like, I need you to be obedient to me now. Like I need you to stop trying to fight everything and be obedient to me, and learn to trust and feel safe and have faith. And I don't know if that's just a human thing that's hard. Like it's very hard. And again, like as a single parent, and like the ego wanting control and like all the different things, like it's this part of us that's again, oh, butterfly. I can only speak for me, but I know that that's hard for me. It's like, it's still a learning process. And, so if you've made mistakes or you're struggling because there's like, you feel like there's failures going on, or you don't feel supported, you feel a lack of resources, you feel like you're in lack, God knows your heart. And it is hard some days. And there's lots of times of confusion. There's lots of times of not knowing what exactly is going to happen next. And that's why I will always just say, like, that trusting in the Most High, and because the things are playing out in your life in a way for a reason. And, we don't always get all the answers all the time. And I don't know why I'm always, and I think because there's that is a fear of mine, because I've had all these different homelessness, like, things pop up for me, and like people's stories. And I just think that that's like so incredibly inspiring. Because that just goes to show you that it's like, God will continue to renew you no matter what your circumstances are. And I don't have all the answers, y'all, because like I said, I'm in this place of like anxiety and like not knowing what's next. And I'm just going to try to continue to listen and let go when I do try to control things, and take it step by step. So know that, unfortunately, we have to deal with people not liking you following your heart, like, or following the path of the Most High. But it's like, that to me drives me more, and I don't want to let this drag out too much. That to me drives me more to want to do that, because it's like, I want to help bring people to the light, not keep things hidden, even though I don't like that I have this darkness. Like, I said that today. It was like, why do I have to carry this? Like, why is this my burden to carry? But it's like, if there's some way that accepting that and embracing it and bringing it out into the open helps others do the same thing, and let that off of their, that holding that inside of them, let that start to let it go, start to let those burdens go, it's like, that makes life better. It makes it easier. And then we get to a place where we can feel safe enough to bring new things in, and to let go of the things that aren't serving us anymore. That's all that's coming to me about that. So I hope that helps somebody. And there's nothing that's a failure. There's nothing that's mistakes are just part of it. You're not a failure, and it's okay if you're in a place of lack. Like, that's so incredibly inspiring and powerful to persevere when we're like right at crawling along on the bottom. And opening up and share, if you can find the strength to open up and share that, it's going to help somebody.